who came out this morning, braved the weather. Thankfully it's dry, it's still a little cool, but we appreciate you coming out. We're here today to raise a flag here for Donate Life. This is National Donate Life Month, and we're here to just raise awareness about the value of organ and tissue donation and how it's facilitated through the coroner's work, along with our local procurement agency, One Legacy. So with that said, I want to just take a minute and introduce some important people who are here today. To my left, we have Prasad Garamala. He's the Chief Operating Officer of One Legacy. He'll be speaking. To his immediate left, James Ramos, who's the Chairman of San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors. Mr. Ramos, thank you for making it out today. To his left on the aisle, Joe Cusimano, who's our Undersheriff. I want to say a special thanks to Anthony Maldonado and Mike Thomas, who are our coordinators. They work with us regularly, and we're thankful that they're here. They are really responsible for keeping events like these in the forefront of our minds. So with that, everyone welcome. We have a pretty short program this morning. I will be the master of ceremony, so you know it will be very short if I have anything to do with it. First up today, I think Mr. Garamala is going to speak to us.
Thank you, Captain Lacey. Welcome, everyone. Today, this month, as Captain Lacey said, marks the Donate Life Month nationwide. First of all, I want to thank the County of San Bernardino and the Coroner's Office for their continued partnership with One Legacy to Saving Lives, and also hosting this flag-raising ceremony. It is so important to bring this awareness in inspiring families in San Bernardino. Since 2009, Donate Life flags across America have rallied hospitals, transplant centers, medical examiners, coroner's offices, and various community organizations to fly the flag to celebrate and honor the thousands, hundreds of thousands of recipients throughout the United States for the gift of that organ and iron tissue. Today, we have over 123,000 recipients waiting across the country for a life-saving organ. Of those, 21,000 are here in California. And of that 21,000, 7,000 are here in Southern California. So that list is very daunting. What's really sad is that every day, 21 people die across the U.S. waiting for a life-saving organ. And we're here for that purpose, to change that, to diminish that risk. And through these collective raising and displaying of Donate Life flags throughout the month of April, we can bring awareness and inspire people to register this decision to donate. I am happy to announce that over 13 million of the 26 million drivers in the state of California registered to get home. That is amazing. Even more amazing is 650,000 of them are here in San Bernardino County. And that is very vital, as we have a transplant program here in the San Bernardino area, Loma Linda University, along with some large hospitals or trauma centers that are pivotal to our success. And I do want to briefly talk about the partnership here with San Bernardino. I've been in transplantation for 18 years. I'm a physician and a surgeon. And the partnership with the coroner's offices are critical. Over 80% of our donors, in one shape or form, involve the coroner's office decision process. Without that support in the county, we are not able to facilitate those donations, even with those registrations. So for that support, and we really are very happy about that. Organ, iron, and tissue donation is an incredible gift. At the end of the day, only made possible by the generosity of donor families with that gift. One Legacy is very grateful to the sheriff, the county, for their support in the organ donation iron tissue process. With the support of San Bernardino County and the coroner's office and the community, we will continue to end that waiting list. And again, thank you for your support.
Now, Supervisor Rollins.
So thank you, and thank you for this opportunity to be here to speak up on this very worthwhile cause. The purpose of our gathering this morning is twofold. And first is to raise the awareness about the impact on San Bernardino County residents of organ and tissue donation. Second, it is to give credit to the partnership between San Bernardino County and One Legacy, that it ultimately touches well over 1,000 lives each day. Considering this year in 2015, 2016, the prior years combined, there were over 12,000 tissues recovered from donors in our county. Of those, 1,014 originated from the Sheriff-Coroner division. So let's give them a round of applause. In 2014 and 15 combined, One Legacy procured 293 organs in our county, or about 147 each year. So it is a combined effort here in San Bernardino County with our coroner's office and with our Arrowhead Regional Medical Center to ensure that the organ donations and the tissue donations are something that we strongly believe in. And today, a little bit later, you'll see the awards coming to with recipients of the tissue and the organ donors that are here. In 2013, they received the procedure that's there, and they're here today sharing life with us, and that's what it's all about. So let's give these two a round of applause. That means when we work together, more than 1,300 people over the last 2 years have received organs or tissues through the efforts of San Bernardino County and One Legacy. While we're thankful that the partnership has helped so many, we also know that the increasing number of donors also needs to increase with it. The recipients that are out there needing those tissues, needing the organs, that's increasing. We also need to heighten the awareness of donors who will be able to donate the tissue or organs when they can. That's a big reason why I'm here today and to support the flag raising, because we have to make sure that our community knows that there's benefits to this, that our people, our constituencies are moving forward. You have two recipients here. One that had a surgery and the procedure done on his eyes, that's able to move forward in life. Another that's had a procedure done in his liver and is able to move forward in life. That's what it's about. That's the message we have to get out to our community, that being donors is not just something you check off on a box. Being a donor gives life. And so we're here today to raise and to donate Life Flag in hopes of changing lives for the better of the future. So we have to make sure that today, when we raise the flag, that it doesn't end with this press conference or with this conference that we're here today. That we tell our family, we tell our friends, we tell the community of the importance of being a donor of tissue and organ donors so that life can continue to grow forward. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
I don't know, that kind of made me want to preach. Thank you, Prasad. Thank you, Supervisor Ramos. The partnership is great. We have much work in front of us that we can always do, and we hope to continue. It's the inspiration that we take from our next two guests, though, that really bring the fire to us. Just moments ago, before we started, I was speaking to our next speaker, and he asked for a short tour of the building here, so I took him inside. And if you look right there in the glass window right there, that's probably where this gentleman got his eyes. I'm going to introduce to you now corneal recipient Roberto Wilkes.
Wow, it's a real privilege to be here today. Thank you, Captain Lacey, for that introduction. Thank you for the tour. To actually be in the room where I received my miracle, the start of it, was very, very emotional and very powerful, and I thank you for that. I am born and raised in San Bernardino County, lifelong resident, so to be able to speak here, I couldn't pass up on the opportunity. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. I'm 36 years old. A lot of times, the old saying is, you never know what you got till it's gone. And for me, it is really true for a while there. In my late 20s, early 30s, my vision became really bad. I was diagnosed with keratoconus. Keratoconus is when the thin layer, the cornea bends outward, and it makes vision almost impossible. It takes away a lot of what you can do. So for me, I had my family was there for me in those moments. My son at the time was playing Little League Baseball here at Dalrosa Little League, which is a local Little League, and he was an all-star. My vision became so bad that I couldn't play catch with him anymore. You know, I couldn't enjoy the games. It was really depressing. So I didn't let that knock me down. I became a board member. And anybody that's been involved with Little League Baseball, being a board member is no easy task. You know, but I'll tell you, having the blurred vision helped out because you don't get to see those looks you get from the parents. But let me tell you, it's rewarding to help the community, and that's what I wanted to do. If I couldn't be a coach, I wanted to help out locally because I've been born, I'm raised here. And that whole time, the vision got bad. It became so bad I couldn't drive. You know, I couldn't go to the store. I couldn't take my son to school, you know. Luckily, my family was there. My father, who's here today, stepped up big time for me, you know. And when I was asked to come here today and speak, that was one of the reasons I came, because my father's worked for the county of San Marino for 39 years. And so I am a family member of the county, you know. And my mother, who's not here today, was also vital in that role, because she was able to fill out the paperwork that was needed for me to get my miracle, my surgery, because that was the only thing that was going to help me see again, was a cornea transplant. So, a lot of patience, you know, with family, friends, community, and I had my miracle. My donor gave me a Christmas miracle. December of 2013, I was able to have surgery at the Illinois Institute here in Loma Linda, or Grand Terrace, and so then the next part of my journey begins, you know, and anytime we're very impatient as individuals. I wanted to run. I wanted to be able to drive. I thought I was going to be able to see right away. But, you know, it takes time. And with going to eye appointments and I was getting ready to drive again. Well, August of 2014, I had a minor setback. I had a rejection. And that is like what I was telling this gentleman here. That's the last thing you want to hear when you have a transplant is rejection. But this partnership with the coroner's office and my doctor and everybody's positive. They have one common goal, and that's to improve life. So the Illinois Institute, my doctor said, fear not. We're going to give you some magic eye drops, and if that doesn't work, we're going to do the surgery again. Brutal truth. And that's all you want, is to know what can be done. So I left, okay, fine. After many months of going to eye appointments and waiting, I had finally last year, May 2015, my eyes were good enough to be able to see. And I went down to DMV and got my driver's license. So I'm happy to tell you, I drove here today. I'm able to take my son to school. I'm able to go to, he's in drama at San Gregorio. I'm able to see plays. If he, you know, my dad, he doesn't have to, you know, always take time out to do that. And I, you know, I have a new lease on life. And that's all because the donor, first off, and then coming today, I was able to realize how important this facility is, what you do here, and it's been a real privilege. And so I want to, you know, in researching what goes on here, I found out that the coroner does play a key role in you know, organ and tissue donation here, but, you know, without their service, dedication, people like me wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be up here, you know. And without their partnerships with One Legacy, which has given me the opportunity to speak and spread the word of being a donor. I'm a donor now. I wasn't a donor before. So wherever I go, I'm telling people, hey, are you a donor? Why not? You know, you need to, because I've read that up to one donor can affect and save up to 8 people's lives, if not more. So potential recipients depend heavily on the coroner's relationship with all parties involved, from the family, from the recently deceased to One Legacy organizations, and it's a life-saving donation of organs and tissue. And your valuable service is, you know, like I said, your professionalism, your leadership. I want to give a special thanks to Captain Lacey for his leadership here, and to his entire staff. You know, your dedication to community, it's second to none. And I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak. And you know, I'm driving, so thank you all.
I think our next speaker is going to be at least as enthusiastic. Mr. Charles Lawden comes to us today. Mr. Lawden is a liver recipient, am I right? Okay. Welcome, Mr. Lawden.
Good morning, everybody.
I'm Charlie Loudon. I first came to San Bernardino in 1971 with the Air Force. I was stationed in Norden, flew C-141s out there during Vietnam, had a lot of rewarding missions, and got out in 1976. Went on to a business career, and brought me to 2009. In 2009, I was in El Centro with my son on some business, and I had a heat stroke. And he rushed me to Redlands Community Hospital, and they said, well, the bad news is you have stage 4 liver disease. Okay. I had no medical insurance, so I got out of the hospital there and went to the VA, and they accepted me in the program, former military. And I'm no poster child for what works in the VA. I'm just going to tell you that. They treated me through 2012, and then they said, if you don't get a liver transplant, you will be dead in a year. Okay. My son became my caregiver, and he and I had a fellowship in January and said, what do we do? I said, let's go for it, and went through the evaluation program here locally. They sent me the recommendation to the VA that I be considered for the program for transplant, and I was accepted in transplant. I actually went to the transplant center in April of 2013 now. Got accepted to the program in May. In June, I almost died because I got sepsis in all my fluids, and was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Got out on July 4th, Independence Day, 2013, and the next day I got listed. So they were sending me to Portland for a procedure, and that happens to be where the transplant center was. Sorry about that. But that's, and they said, well, we're not going to give you the bypass. You're basically on your liver. You basically have gone now from 4th on the list to 1st on the list, standby. 10 days later, 4:30 in the morning, I got a call from somebody, I don't know who, and they said, we got a liver, you want it? Who the heck is this, excuse me? My son's my caregiver, we're in a transplant lodge. He sets up and goes, I go, yeah. And I said, yes, I want it. They said, well, we want you to pre-op in an hour. So they sent a cab for me, I went to pre-op. Then that night, I was prepped for surgery, went into surgery late July 22nd, and then 23rd, about 4 o'clock in the morning, I got, liver was turned on, the new liver was turned on. So that starts a journey of renewal for me, because it's basically a new life, and I was given a new life. And we stayed 3 months up there with my son and I in post-transplant, and during that time, I got a new relationship with my son. We've worked together in business for a lot of times, and if people out there have adult children or nearly adult children, it can be challenging. And so he and I had some fellowships over the years. But after that time, and he put his life aside for that. He says, Dad, I'm here for you. Totally changed the relationship with my son. During that time, he became so interested in medicine. People would say to him, are you a doctor or are you a nurse? You know so much about medicine. He said, no. We said, you look at it. When he comes back, he decides to become an EMT. Went through Crafton, became an EMT, and he's now at PMR Redlands. He's been there a year. He wants to be a trauma nurse, get into flight nursing. That's his goal, to move on beyond that. He is awesome. And he's been awesome with me, because my pre-transplant had a lot of issues, and he was there all the time, and there. But having said that, now we're getting into, I've now learned something about the transplant process I didn't know before. Up there, when I was at the transplant center, I was getting my treatment and everything, and the liver showed up, and they want you to write a letter to the donor's family, and my son and I both wrote letters. They can choose to talk to you if they want. They did not. My son says, I'd like to meet the family. And he says, how about you, Dad? And I said, well, I talk to my donor every day and my donor's family when I say thank you. Because there's a connection. We are all connected. And came back, decided to join One Legacy and become an ambassador. So I'm now an ambassador for 60 MVs. Hospital ambassador, and I get to meet people like you. I've met Riverside County Coroner, I've met the hospital people, and at Riverside, small story, I was down there and they said, we've never met anybody that's been a recipient. It's alive. People we see are not, and we know.
So I didn't realize how much goes on behind the scenes with the organ procurement organizations to make this happen, and how critical the coroner's office is to make it happen, because timing is everything. The DDCs know this for the dedicated donation to coordinators for One Legacy. The people here that coordinate know it because the work they do together, they communicate with each other. So I give thanks for you folks because I get to meet you. I get to know more about what brought me the gift of life. And I get to go, and I just found out today there were 13 million at the DMV. It was 12. All my DMVs say 12, 13 million people. Because people are saying, no, they're not going to just ignore you if you're hurt on the side of the road. They don't look at your license. The emergency room people don't look at your license. The people that do the caregiving are not the people that do the organ recovery. It's a totally different organization, totally different group. So the message gets out, we're communicating. At the end of the day, I'm here because somebody went the extra step to say, I want to be a donor, I want to participate, I want to give back. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm here also because someone else in the world also did the same thing you do here. So thank you very much for what you do. It makes a huge difference in lives. And I give thanks to you folks every day.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and raise the flag now. I'm going to introduce our flag raisers. This is Deputy Coroner Investigator Lori Hinojos and Deputy Coroner Investigator Bob Hunter. The flag will be raised on the southernmost pole here, so if you're in the back, you may not be able to see. You can come up a little bit more forward. One of the things to note as we do this is the first time at a San Bernardino County facility that we've done a flag raising like this. We are a first.